Okay, let's make sure this is going okay again. Okay, I hope nobody was really watching the last stream because all of a sudden my controller just like broke down. It like stopped working. Okay, all right. As I was saying, we did make some adjustments with the team and we got some stuff better. So we got Derrick Henry here for 2 years. He was our big prize in free agency. Because of that, we actually got trade offers during the offseason for Chase Brown. So I opted to trade him to the Giants for Cam Akers as a backup running back. Now, Cam Akers is worse than him, but we also got a pick out of that, so I figured it was worth it. Because with getting Derrick Henry here for the next couple of seasons, I feel like Chase Brown is expendable. Now, doesn't mean that I won't be looking at running back potentially if we keep this series going and Henry starts to break down a little bit. But we got a bona fide superstar running back at 87 overall on our team, albeit at 32 years old. Fullback is Eli Wilson, 72 overall. We still have a 99 Jamar Chase. We still have Higgins and Trey Harris, who won Offensive Rookie of the Year last year. So I'm pretty impressed with our receiving core. I really haven't drafted any receivers except for Harris, who turned out to be a really good pick for us the first draft that we had. A lot of these other guys are just unnamed guys, really. Although this guy right here, Iosivas, actually was a pretty good receiver for us during the playoffs last year. But Trey Harris is already up to an 80 overall after a stellar rookie season. Tight end Harrison Bryant, I did put in an offer during the offseason to try to bring in Mark Andrews, but he was out of our price range. We just couldn't afford him. He went to go to the Commanders, I believe, for a bigger deal. But I'm okay with going with Harrison Bryant, 76 tight end as our starter once again. We still have All Jr., Drew Sample. We did draft Jack Velling out of Michigan State, 67 overall. Hopefully there's some development there, but looking like the Velling may be a backup tight end for us for his career as kind of a rotational guy. Left tackle is Orlando Brown Jr. Kirkland is still his backup. I did sign Keon Green to get an improvement at left guard. I brought back Steeney to be the backup once again at 70 overall. I was able to bring back Ted Karras, 76 center. Matt Lee is still backing him up. Brandon Scherf on a one-year deal only. At 34 years old, he may be in the last year of his career, if I'm being honest. 82 overall, though, right guard. That is an improvement. And I signed Tristan Colon, so we have a pretty respectable backup behind Brandon. Trent Brown is our starting right tackle once again. Mims, I was debating about maybe moving him or one of these guys to left tackle. Each of these guys I feel like could play left tackle based on their overall ratings. I got a good backup in Mims. But Trent Brown is getting up there in age at 33 years old. I wonder if he'll retire at the end of this season. It remains to kind of be seen, but we'll just have to wait and see what happens and what he decides to do. Landon Jackson was a rookie last year. I know he didn't play very much. We're going to go with him as our starting left end at 77 overall. We still have Miles Murray, who we picked at the fifth-year option on his contract. He'll be here for at least this next season. Do I want to invest in him long-term? I don't really know. I definitely wanted to have him as a backup behind Landon Jackson. He is a little bit worse than the left end that we had last year. Right end, we still have Hendrickson, who's our best defensive lineman at 93 overall. We still have Isaiah Thomas. Joshua Joseph is somebody we drafted out of Tennessee. Hopefully he can develop into a good rotational guy. Defensive tackle, we still have Chris Jenkins Jr. I did sign DJ Reader to be a good veteran backup. At 80 overall for 1 year is a pretty good deal if you ask me. He's a bridge player, 32 years old. I also signed Rashard Lawrence to be our third defensive tackle. 71 overall is pretty respectable. And I also drafted Keyshawn Silver out of Kentucky, 62 overall. Hopefully there's some development there. Willie Gay was one of our other pretty, not big free agents, but one of probably the second best guy behind Derrick Henry, if I'm being honest, in terms of players in free agency we were able to sign. Only 28 years old, 75 overall left outside linebacker. That's an improvement there because Jack Kaiser didn't really get a whole lot of playing time last year. He's a linebacker we drafted out of Notre Dame in the first draft. We also drafted Darrell Peterson out of Wisconsin. So we got a couple of 66 and a couple of guys in the 60s behind Gay. So linebacking core could use an improvement, but I was able to get middle linebacker Chris Barnes on a quick 1 year deal. 75 overall. That's an improvement in middle linebacker from last year. We still have Francisco and Mema. Francisco really didn't play too much, and he's at 66. Logan Wilson still arguably our best linebacker, but he's dropped to 79, only by 1 point. So the linebacking core We have high guys in the 70s, and that's it. So there could be some improvement there. Logan Wilson has just turned 30 years old, so he may start to get to the downside of his career in terms of his rating. I'd like to keep him here for a long-term deal because I think he's only got about 1 to 2 years left on his contract. So I'm hoping to ink him for long-term because we do need to get better at left outside linebacker and middle linebacker. And kind of like I was talking about earlier, I'm really impressed that this team made it as far as the way they did when we even had last year worse left outside linebacker and a worse middle linebacker. Well, I say worse. We had Jermaine Pratt. I tried to get him back in free agency, but he opted to go for a little bit of a higher deal and more money in Carolina. I wasn't surprised about that. I was a little bit disappointed that we lost out on Pratt. He was a staple in Cincinnati, and bringing in Chris Barnes to be basically his replacement is really the best that I could do. And in free agency, I really kind of try to go after guys, no matter what team I'm rebuilding, if their interest is up. Because if you're going after guys who may be like in the 80s or the 90s, but their bar is in the red and it's really low, you really have to throw a crap load of money at them to convince them to come here. Mark Andrews was a 92 overall. He was the highest rated free agent. He was interested in coming here. A neutral deal, which typically is like a middle-of-the-road contract, not overly breaking the bank, but still pretty generous, still was not enough to bring him here. For Derrick Henry, it was, but he's also only 87 overall, and it really looked like he didn't have a whole lot of offers in free agency other than us. There was really no other competing offers for him, which I was really surprised about. But I'm hoping that that's not a telltale sign that teams are devaluing Derrick Henry because an 87 running back, I feel like, is going to boost us up. Hopefully he can stay healthy because last year, despite the injuries that we had, we still went on a pretty impressive playoff run, but we had some injuries at running back all throughout the season, and it hurt us a bit in the end. But moving on with the rest of the roster. I was able to get Cam Taylor-Britt to come back on a pretty generous deal. 86 corner. We still have Turner, 83, and we have Dax Hill. One of our other 80s corners, Milton, I believe, we decided to let walk just due to money. But we do have Josh Newton, and Kobe Bryant is getting a little bit better. He's now our 5th best corner on the team. And we also drafted Jalen Husky out of Maryland. So 67 overall. I'm hoping there's development there. But Kobe Bryant looks like he could be a guy that could find his way into be more of a rotation at the cornerback spot. Geno Stone, I was able to get back on a contract, 82 overall free safety. I didn't want to let that just walk away. Jordan Battle got up to the 80s during the season last year. He's down to a 78, but he's an 80 bridge player in terms of his overall. But we did sign Chuck Clark for insurance for his backup. He's a bit of on the older side, 31 years old. I believe he's only here on a 1-year deal anyway. And we also drafted Shaheem Brown with our first-round pick. First-round picks, typically, you want them to come in and make a difference. But Brown, 75 overall behind Battle, maybe sitting on the bench a little bit for his first year. I know that's kind of bad because players could regress if I do that. But Chuck Clark is only going to be here for this year, and then he's gone. So it's going to be Brown's job to lose as the backup guy behind Battle. And I don't know how much longer Battle will be here. So Brown could be a guy that could overtake him as a starter. We still have Evan McPherson, and I signed Braden Mann as the punter. So I actually do want to make one quick roster move. We only have 2 running backs, so I actually want to go out and sign a 3rd running back to kind of make us have at least 3 backs on the team. Highest rated running back is Khalil Herbert. I'm going to go ahead and sign him to a 1-year deal so that way we have some decent running back depth behind Henry. I'm going to go ahead and see kind of what this does with the numbers a little bit, see how Herbert looks. He can wear 26. I think that's fine. We have Cam Akers as the backup, and we have Khalil Herbert as the 3rd-string running back. We have 79 and 78. So decent running back depth behind Derrick Henry should he get hurt. So we'll see kind of what happens with that. Derrick Henry doesn't fit our scheme, but 87 overall running backs in free agency don't come across very much. So I feel like we have a pretty good set of triplets, if you will. We got an all-pro quarterback, an all-pro receiver, and we've got a really, really good running back. So I feel like that may be enough to put us over the edge and hopefully get us back to the Super Bowl. I'm hoping that. But, we'll have to wait and see. We do lose to the Vikings, albeit a preseason game in the rematch. First time we played them since the Super Bowl. So we're playing the Commanders this week, who we're going to be facing Mark Andrews. who we lost out in free agency to, and we lose to them actually pretty good by 17. We have one preseason game left against the Giants, and we go 1-2. We go 1-2 in the preseason. So we finally get back on the winning ways with the game against the Giants. So let's go ahead and trim this roster down. I'm going to go and skip all the quarterbacks and running backs because I want to keep as many guys active as I can. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cut Jordan Moore. And I'm also going to go ahead and cut McCoy. Not even going to bother putting these guys on practice squad because I don't think they'll be much help to us in that regard. Can't cut Sample because that'll be a penalty. I'm going to maybe come back to Velling. I may have to just put him on the practice squad, even though there's a really good chance he'll be scooped up by somebody. I don't want to risk that, but I may have to. Defensive ends, Joshua Josephs. I don't want to risk losing any of our guys. Go ahead and cut this guy. Francisco be the backup. Probably have a lot of corners, so we can probably cut some of these guys. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. Okay, so we can probably, well, okay. Well, Dolby, we're just going to go ahead and cut you. I'm even going to put you on practice squad. Husky, I'm going to risk putting on practice squad, though. If we lose him, not the end of the world, but hopefully there's some development there, like I said earlier. I don't want to put Brown on the practice squad because somebody will definitely snatch him up being an 80 overall. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I'm going to put Hudson. I'm actually going to put Hudson on the practice squad. And Jack Velling, I'm going to risk putting him on practice squad. He may get scooped up. I hope not, but he may. We do have to cut or put 2 more players on the practice squad. Joseph's, I'm going to risk it. And I'm going to risk it with Silver as well. I hope none of those guys get scooped up, but I got a feeling at least one of them will. Let's go ahead and simulate to the regular season. And nobody got scooped up. Okay, I'm a little bit surprised. Nobody got scooped up from our practice squad, so everybody who put on practice squad is still there. Let's get the 2027 draft. I think this is the one with Arch Manning. Yep, there he is. Okay, so this is correct for the 2027 draft. So here we go, starting out the regular season against a team we beat in the playoffs last year in the Jaguars. Let me check the injury report before week 1, see if we got any injuries from the preseason. We have no injuries. That's great. So let's get going with our season. Let's simulate to the middle of the season and see where we are. Three and 4. Ooh. So we have a better running back, and we're third in our division. The Ravens are 5 and 1. You see, this is what I was concerned about with last year being probably our best chance, because last year the Ravens started out like 2 and 5 or something like that. They did make the playoffs. They obviously took us to overtime in that playoff game. So they were like just starting to hit their stride. The Steelers started off slow as well. We kind of pretty much controlled the division from not the very beginning of the season, maybe about like the quarter of the way through the season. And now we're locked in, to a battle, and that's one of the things is that the Steelers and Ravens are going to be consistently good as long as the Steelers have a pretty solid defense and running game, and as long as Lamar Jackson stays in Baltimore. So this is what we have to face off against. It's kind of a matter of, is Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase going to be good enough as a combination to overtake those two teams to be consistently in the postseason? That's the thing that we keep fighting through in terms of dynamic. So, yeah. Well, let's see what players are ready to negotiate their contracts. We have $50 million, and I want to try to keep at least one of these corners. Dax Hill looks like he's more interested, so I'm going to risk letting DJ Turner walk. I'm going to see if I can get Dax Hill to come back on a contract. Good offer, great. Down to $44 million now. DJ Turner, I'm letting walk. Jordan Battle, I'm going to do the same thing because of who we drafted. Harrison Bryant is our starting tight end, but I feel like I can get better there. Orlando Brown Jr. doesn't really want to come back here, but you know what? It may be time to move Mims or Trent Brown over there. But if Trent Brown retires, that may be tough. But you know what? Announcements of retirements happen at the end of the season, and we still always have one more chance to sign players. If that happens, I'm going to try to bring back Orlando Brown Jr. Iosivas, he's pretty solid for us, but we just can't afford to keep him. And I think everybody else, Trent Brown's contract actually is up, but he may retire. So I'm going to wait on that to bring back either him. One of these guys is going to come back, or both of them, Orlando Brown and Trent Brown potentially. I'll see what happens with that. All these other guys are backups, so I'm not really. Brandon Sheriff may retire, so I'm not going to be too crazy on giving him a new deal. Sample is a third-string tight end. It's time for him to go. Karras, I'm going to risk letting walk again. We may be able to do better at center in the offseason, maybe not. We can try to get him for one more year. We'll definitely take the fifth-year option on Mims. So right now, while I don't think I'm done signing some of these guys whose contracts are up, I want to wait till the end of the season and see what happens if Trent Brown retires. If he does, then I think I'm going to definitely, obviously, accept the fifth-year option on Mims, and I'm definitely going to bring back Orlando Brown. So I think that's what we're going to do. Playing the Falcons this week, they're 3-4 just like us, and we beat the Falcons by 8, so now we're back to 500. Got a media question to answer, of course. I think we can find it and get into the playoffs. This is a team that won the Super Bowl last year, so we got that pride in us to try to get back to the postseason. Let me check out the stats. I want to see how Burrow's doing as well as Chase. Well, Burrow already has 20 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. 2,200 yards is pretty good for 9 weeks in the season. Derrick Henry doesn't have 500 yards yet. He's got 6 rushing touchdowns. That's solid, but not quintessential, maybe, Derrick Henry numbers. I know he's not a scheme fit guy. I hope that doesn't really bite us too much. Jamar Chase just went over 800 yards. He's got 6 touchdowns. He's averaging 100 yards catching a game, which is fantastic. Higgins has 4 of them, and he's got just under 500 yards. We have 3 from Harris. We got 4 from Bryant. So it's really, once again, Jamar Chase running the show, but I don't have a problem with that for obvious reasons. But it looks like Burrow and Chase have not lost a step, which is good. We just got to build around those guys as far as our offense. And defensively, we're still trying to find some sort of identity with guys that may not be very elite, but are solid. Texans are 3-5. So this should be a tough matchup. And we beat the Texans by 1 point. But we're 5-4. We're over 500. We're second in our division. 1 game. Well, we're tied with Cleveland, but we may own the tiebreaker against them. So that's pretty nice. Eagles are 8-1. They look like they may be one of the best teams in the league this year. And we lose to the Eagles by 11. So now we're back to 500, and we're back to 3rd in our division, which isn't great. And we're playing the Steelers this week. If we lose this game, it's definitely going to be an uphill battle just to make the postseason. We could be headed for a tough stretch. We beat the Steelers, though, by 18 points. Wow, so we beat them pretty good. And now we're second in the division. We're clearly second by a game. So we're a full game ahead of Cleveland, which is nice. Cleveland, surprisingly, 5-5. I did not expect them to have as good of a year as they have. I assume they still have Deshaun Watson, unless they drafted somebody. Watson's probably still on the team because they probably get rid of him due to that contract. But maybe they drafted somebody. I don't know. Colts are 4-6. Hopefully we beat this team. Beat the Colts, pretty good. We've got some stuff to take care of here as far as housekeeping, I guess. I keep seeing a lot of weekly awards. Looks like Joe Burrow is having another fantastic season as one of the best quarterbacks in the league. I'm sure his stats by this point are looking pretty good. So he's got 3,400 yards, 31 touchdowns to 9 interceptions. He's basically on point with the way he was last year. And I think he's a 99 overall, if I recall. Maybe. Or 97. It's close. And Jamar Chase has already eclipsed the 1,000-yard mark. He's got 1,100 yards, 9 touchdowns. Trey Harris actually has 7 of them. We got 6 from Higgins, and we got 5 from Bryant. So our passing attack is really good. Running game, though, even with Derrick Henry, it looks like is still not really making a big difference in the offense. I mean, over 500 rushing yards is better than the production we got out of Chase Brown, but Chase Brown was also hurt during a good portion of last season. But Derrick Henry does have 10 touchdowns already on the season. So his first year with us, he runs for double-digit touchdowns. He's averaging 4 yards a carry, 48 yards a game. Cam Akers has 2 rushing touchdowns, so even with Derrick Henry, the running game isn't like I'm not saying overpowering, but it's not. It's really still Burrow and Chase as the main parts of our offense that are running the show. How did Burrow's numbers compare? He leads the NFL in passing yards. Wow. Does he lead the NFL in touchdowns? No, looks like Mahomes does. But Burrow is only second behind Mahomes. But he leads the NFL in passing yards. So Joe Burrow is having an MVP-type season. Receiving-wise, Chase is second in the NFL in receiving yards behind Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's got 9 touchdowns, and Amon-Ra St. Brown has 13. But also, Chris Godwin has 13. So those are the leaders in touchdown catches. I'm not going to look at running numbers because I'm sure Derrick Henry is probably in the middle pack of the league in terms of running the football. Okay, well, we are 7-5. We are second in our division, a full game still in front of Cleveland, and the Saints are 4-7. You can't be losing to inferior teams at this point of the season. Beat the Saints by 2 touchdowns. That's good. Cleveland is still 1 game behind us. We play 1 more game than them, so that's where we have the edge. We do have a bye week this week. I'm sure Cleveland's playing, so we'll see what happens if they win and maybe start to get closer. No, Cleveland lost, and the Steelers, looks like they have leapfrogged them in the division, so they're 1 game behind us. The playoff picture right now has us as the 6th seed, the Steelers as the 7th seed. So maybe there's a chance, once again, 3 teams from the North can make the postseason. But we can't slip up because the Steelers are right on our butts. And we actually play them and Cleveland in the next 2 weeks. This could determine if we lose one of these games, whether we make the postseason or not. If we win both, okay, we beat Cleveland. Okay, step 1 taken care of. That's great. We knocked them down to 7-7. We're 9-5 right now, so we're looking pretty dandy. We're still holding on to the 6th seed. The Dolphins actually have leapfrogged the Steelers in the 7th seed, so the Steelers are out of the playoffs right now. We play the Steelers. If we beat them, we more than likely knock them out of the postseason contention and might be able to kind of secure our spot in the playoffs. But we do have the Ravens the next week, and we lose to the Steelers. We haven't lost our grip on 2nd place, but we haven't clinched a playoff spot yet. We're holding on to the 6th seed. The Steelers are back in the 7th seed after beating us. And we play the Ravens this week, who are leading the division. And we beat the Ravens. Wow, we beat them 38-35. That was probably an all-time classic. And we do clinch a playoff spot. We don't win the division like we did last year, but we do clinch a playoff spot. And we play the Chiefs before we get to the postseason. That's a very interesting way to end the regular season with a win against them. But I know that this is randomized by the time you get to this point, so you don't play much. Well, we make the postseason. We get blown out by the Chiefs, but I don't even know if then again, I didn't control if our starters played or not, but our playoff spot's locked up. We couldn't do anything with our seeding anyway, whether we won or lost. So we are in the playoffs at the 60s. So we got the Ravens against the Steelers. So once again, like last year, it's another AFC North battle in the wild card game. But this time, it's going to be a tougher road for us to travel because we're going to go on the road for every single playoff game unless the Steelers somehow beat the Ravens and then they beat the Chiefs and we play them in the AFC Championship game. And we also got the Jaguars taking on the Bills. And the Chiefs got the number 1 seed. NFC side looks like this. We got the Eagles with the number 1 seed, Packers against the Lions, Bucks against the Cowboys, and the Seahawks against the Commanders. So that's the playoffs for year 3. So I'm glad we made the postseason again. Let me check out the stats. No, not league transactions. Let's check out the stats and see how the stats ended. Did Joe Burrow end up leading maybe the whole league in passing? Looks like he did. He threw for... Sorry, I see 3 sixes. I get paranoid. That's not good. He had 43 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Quinn Ewers is a Brown, so that's why they're better this year, because they drafted him. Mahomes was behind him in the NFL. As far as our statistics, running back wise, Derrick Henry did not even crack the 1,000-yard barrier. It's a little discouraging for his first year with us. 815 yards, 13 touchdowns. That's good, but running wise, he only averaged 4 yards a carry. Normally he's about a 5-yard per carry guy. Chase and Trey Harris both went for over 1,000 yards. So Trey Harris had another great season. So another good season in his sophomore year. 13 touchdowns. He actually leads in touchdown catches with 13 of them and 11, which to me indicates that guys like Iosivas are pretty much done. He hasn't even been very productive this season. So really it's looking like that, we got a pretty good three-headed monster with, Higgins, Harris, and Chase. That's a pretty good trio of receivers, if you ask me. So I'm pretty excited about that. So we play the Jets in our first playoff game on the road in New York, MetLife Stadium. I'm pretty confident Aaron Rodgers is retired by this point, so they probably have a new quarterback.
The NFL playoffs are here, and this matchup on Wild Card Weekend is brought to you by EA Sports.
Yep, that looks like it's probably Jalen Milroe. It looks like it's him. So it looks like Jalen Milroe is their new starting quarterback. And it looks like it's not snowing in New York. We had 2 snow games in the postseason last year, so this is a decent break. 3rd down and 4. Like I said, this is going to be a tough road for us to travel.
Looking for a throw here.
Adams. But forced the 3 and out. Well, a field goal. But the Jets get a touchdown. They're up by 10. And once again, our offense hasn't done anything. We're on the verge of going down 17 or 13 and nothing if we don't stop it here. It's already the second quarter.
Toss play. This is Hall.
Okay, there we go. Good defense. Got to make a stop here or else we're going to be in trouble. I really don't want our Super Bowl Super Bowl appearance defense to end in the wild card round. Henderson, get there, please. Good job, D. Good job, Henderson. Way to fight through it and get the sack. Just what we needed.
3rd down coming up.
It's a loss of 6. Brings up 3rd and 15.
3rd down and 15. That's going to make it pretty tough for this offense. But
running back sent in motion.
Almost leaving. Murphy, another sack. Let's go. Miles Murphy with a big play there. It's 4th and 26. There's no Freddie Mitchell out there. Anybody know that reference? Packers, Eagles, 2003. I'm not an Eagles fan, but I remember that play. All right, so they're going to kick the field goal. They go up 13 and nothing, but it could have been 17 and nothing easily based on how everything went in that game. Well, it's 3rd down and 9. We really need to get on the scoreboard on this drive. On Burrow, on Chase, I need you to catch that, buddy. All right, great big first down by Jamar Chase. Go to our 99 receiver, and we get a touchdown. And we've got a chance to get more points. Got the ball at like the 10-yard line. Let's go actually wide receiver under. See if we can get Harris to go deep here. On Harris. That was decent defense by them. We have 2 timeouts remaining. So, yeah, I mean, he throws. He aggressive. Go, Chase. Get out of bounds. Reserve some of that clock. Here we go. Well, that puts us in the chance still to pass this thing in. Oh, no, that was a bad throw.
incomplete.
Muhammad was right there. I
Couldn't connect
should
on
have
first.
tested him like
It's second
that.
down. To throw again, it's Burrow. Oh, he put some heat on this deep ball.
Deep shot. Chase has got it for a first down timeout. Big play we needed. I wanted to take a shot there just to give ourselves a chance to get some points before the half. That was huge.
Thinking touchdown here after that big play. We've got 1st and 10 from the red zone. Working inside the red zone.
On Chase. The catch. Touchdown before the half. Let's go. Huge. But the Jets come right back with a touchdown, with a field goal. We're down by 2.
Let's see what
It's
they
3rd and 7.
Burrow setting to throw.
Harris
Complete
play
over
right
the
there
middle.
for a first.
And he gets down to the 24.
Score again to take the lead back. We're up by 5. It's about the end of the third quarter. It's 3rd and 4 for the Jets. That changes to cover 1 robber. Oh, get him again. Another big sack. Miles Murphy again. Let's go. Defense stepping up. Force another field goal. There's 3 minutes left in this game. And the Jets are backed up.
They'll get this drive started. 1st and 10. They kick the running back in motion. Throwing it to start this drive. Throwing the out route complete. And he's going to go out of bounds up past the 15.
Wilson with a big play on
Nice spot here
first
for the
and 9
offense.
yards.
It's 2nd and 1.
2nd and 1.
From the 16. Has him on the quick hitter.
Okay, just don't let him break a tackle at least.
That one gains 7.
Almost a
And it'll give the
2-minute
Jets a
game.
first down. Pass play now.
Another sack.
They're gonna get there and they drop it.
Nice. Logan Wilson came in there and made the play.
Drives them
Big
backwards.
time.
Second
Good
down
job, Logan.
coming up.
All right, it's
So
2
we're down to
minutes.
the 2-minute warning here from New York.
It's not over yet.
Jets
Defense has
trail by a
played
couple.
well.
The challenge with so many sacks is it just disrupts everything in the rhythm and timing of your offense. All of these negative plays. Hey, this league and this game is hard enough when you're on schedule.
Short completion, but
All of these sacks set you
we'll
behind
give
the
that up.
chains. You've seen how disruptive it is for this
Surprised they're
offense.
not going with more of a quick
And the
hurry up.
Bengals
But then
bring
again, they
out
just
a
need a
fifth
field goal.
DB. They're
Oh
in the
boy.
nickel, 3rd
No
down.
big plays. 3rd and 13. They got 2 downs left. Oh,
And he just gets rid
great
of
job
this one,
forcing a
but
throwaway. Now it's 4th and
unfortunately, that
13.
means
This is
fourth
the
down
game right
coming
here.
up.
We stop them here, game's over.
Jordan battled there defensively.
To throw.
Oh my gosh, Devontae Adams
And
open.
they can't jump to him,
Jeez.
but not until he's got a huge gain and a first down.
Misspent their first time.
Setting up to pass. This will be caught by
Adams
Adams.
again, first
And
and
this is marked down right along that 40-yard line. Jets moving quickly, trying to get the offense set. That's caught. It's Breece Hall. And not much doing. He stopped quickly.
they called a timeout. Are they going to kick
Timeout
it
taken
here?
by New York. That's its 2nd. 2nd down now, 7 to go.
I don't want to play. I don't want to sell out on the run because I think they're still going to try to throw it and get their field goal kicker closer. And of course, that happens.
And he gets
All right,
down
I'm gonna
to
call
24
timeout now.
before he stopped. We get a timeout now from the Bengals. That's going to be their first. From the gun, it's Hall. And they make the play at the 23.
Call it a
A gain of only a little.
I'm selling out to
Cincinnati
stop the
uses
run.
its 2nd timeout. They give on 2nd to Hall.
Oh my goodness, are you serious, guys? Oh.
And he
All right,
will
well,
score and give them the lead.
we have actually a timeout left, and we got to get a touchdown to go win this thing now. Man. Look at the last second touchdown. We just had basically +1 for a touchdown.
He'll look to throw it.
Chase, we need you right here, buddy. Come on. Ugh.
And the defender redirects that deep shot. Nicely done. Incomplete. So after the incompletion,
We got to go like
second
4
down.
verticals on like every play.
Here he is to throw. A bit of desperation on this deep shot. Big gain downfield. Down to 8 seconds.
One more shot.
One final shot here. Trying to push
Come on,
it.
Chase. Oh, did he catch it? There's a flag. Oh, there's a flag, though.
Will stand, though. Well, that depends on the call on this flag.
Illegal touching. Offense.
Oh, my God, no.
Would have liked to have kept that
Oh,
big
my
play,
God.
but
He
the
went out of
officials are
bounds,
telling
and then he
us no.
caught it.
It's gotta come
Oh,
back.
man.
The win goes to the Jets.
And that's the way our season
They're headed
ends.
to the divisional round next week.
Golly.
Great start to their playoffs and getting the win at home, but the tests
So in our
only get
Super Bowl
harder from
title
here on
defense, we
out.
don't even get close to getting back to the Super Bowl. Oh, man. Well, that's another heartbreaking way to end it. We lose the Super Bowl on a heartbreaker, and then we lose our wild card game the next year on a heartbreaker as well. Well, let's simulate through the rest of the playoffs to see what happens. All right. So Super Bowl is between the Packers and the Chiefs. So, of course, the Ravens. So let's see what happened the rest of the playoffs. The Ravens defeat the Steelers. Of course, we lost to the Jets. Bills beat the Jaguars on the road. That's a little bit surprising. The Jets actually went on the road and beat the Ravens, and the Chiefs beat the Bills. So the Chiefs blow out the Jets in the AFC Championship game. NFC side, the Packers defeat the Lions. The Cowboys go on the road and beat the Buccaneers. And the Seahawks beat the Commanders. And it was the Packers beating the Seahawks, and it was the Cowboys beating the Eagles. And the Packers blew past the Cowboys in the NFC Championship game. So the Cowboys' first appearance in the NFC title since 1996. They lose to the Packers, the same team they beat in 1995. So it's Packers and the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. So it's Aaron Rodgers against Jordan Love. Let's check out the Pro Bowl roster and see if our Bengals made it. Joe Burrow made it, of course. Jamar Chase, of course, made it. Did Trey Harris make it? No, Trey Harris didn't make the Pro Bowl. Geno Stone made the Pro Bowl. So we had three players make it. We had Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and we also had Geno Stone, our free safety, made the Pro Bowl as well. So let's see the yearly awards, see if any of the Bengals were up for anything. Yearly awards. The MVP goes to Patrick Mahomes. Joe Burrow actually finished fourth in the MVP voting, which is pretty good. Coach of the Year goes to Andy Reid. Zach Taylor finished 10th. AFC Offensive Player of the Year goes to Mahomes. Jamar Chase finishes 5th. Joe Burrow finishes 6th. Defensive Player of the Year, no Bengals. Offensive Rookie of the Year, nobody. Defensive Rookie of the Year, no Bengals there. Best QB, Joe Burrow finished 2nd behind Mahomes. Best running back, Derrick Henry did finish 8th in the AFC. Best receiver, Jamar Chase actually finished 3rd in the AFC behind McConkey and Shakir. That's surprising. But Harris actually got some love. He finished 8th. Best offensive lineman, Brandon Sheriff finished 4th. And Steeney, I guess he got a bunch of playing time this year. He finished 7th. Not bad. Best defensive lineman, no Bengals. Best linebacker, nobody. Best DB, no Bengals there either. Best kicker, surprising, no Evan McPherson on this list. Okay. So no Bengal wins any awards this year, but Joe Burrow could have been MVP, could have been Offensive Player of the Year, if not for Mahomes making it to the Super Bowl again. But still, let's see who wins between the Packers and the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. And it is the Chiefs defeating the Packers. So the Chiefs have won their fourth Super Bowl. The MVP of the game is Mahomes. Mahomes also won the MVP of the whole league. Andy Reid's Coach of the Year. Amon-Ra St. Brown was Offensive Player of the Year. Defensive Player of the Year is Myles Garrett of the Browns. Offensive Rookie of the Year is Zachariah Branch, a wide receiver from the Packers. Defensive Rookie of the Year is Chris Paul Jr. of the Cowboys. Okay, so it looks like they got a new middle linebacker to pair alongside Parsons, which is pretty nice. Let's take a look at retirements. This is where we kind of determine what we're going to do about that offensive line situation. Let me see who else. David Bakari retired. So did Justin Tucker. Cooper Kupp's calling it a career. So is Geno Smith. Ryan Kelly. Amari Cooper. Havenstein. Grover Stewart. Ramchak. Zadarius Smith. Looks like we do have some guys retiring, and it's Karras, and it is Trent Brown. So Ted Karras is retiring, and so is Trent Brown. So Mims definitely picking up his fifth-year option, and I think we're also going to go ahead and get Orlando Brown Jr. signed to a new deal if I can. Going to have to do some convincing, but we'll see what we can do. Well, first things first, let's pick up the fifth-year option on Mims. He will be our starting right tackle next season, but star trade and 85 overall is pretty solid. Now, he's going to be in line for a new deal after the fifth-year option. He plays on that, but we're going to be willing to give that money to him. He looks like a franchise right tackle. Obviously, he hasn't probably started a lot, but he's probably got some playing time. He's been learning behind Trent Brown, who's now retiring, so now it's his show. Okay, so now I got to determine what else I need to do. Well, Orlando Brown Jr., an 80 overall left tackle, I don't just want to let loose on the market. So will he come back for a 2-year player-friendly deal? Offer is perfect, great, but it takes us down to $26 million. But I think that's about all I wanted to do in terms of signing anybody else. Sheriff has actually dropped down to a 76, so I think I can get better at right guard, but we're going to have to do more overhauls for the offensive line, kind of like we did last season. We'll kind of be stuck in the same boat, but we're just going to have to kind of run that process back again. But we got to do it with less money. We only have $26 million to work with this year. However, I might retool a couple of contracts if I possibly can before we get free agency started. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go to salaries and take a look and see what contracts we can adjust, if any. We can restructure Burrow. That'll free up $17.4 million. That is great. Okay, I know Mills is going to be our backup for one more season. And he actually, Derrick Henry dropped. Wow. So Derrick Henry's first season with us, he drops from an 87 to a 79. Well, he's only going to be on the books for one more season. So I guess we're really going to go with the 1-2 punch of him and Cam Akers and see what happens. But you know what? Running back, that may be where we go in the draft to really get a big running back to help out. Because both these guys, it looks like I'm going to be willing. I think I'm going to move on from both these guys after this season. So I want to get somebody in there that can at least develop and learn, if I can. Chase, can we restructure his deal? Yes, we can. That'll free up $11.4 million, which is great because we're going to need some of that money to bring in some help in different positions. Can we restructure Higgins? Yes. Won't free up a whole lot, but it'll free up $4 million, which is pretty good. Can we restructure Harris, actually? Can. Ooh, 110K. All right, well, okay, that's not much, but still. I'm going to see if there's anybody else that I can maybe move on from. No. Well, savings. Penalty. Okay. Well, Hudson and Shavers, those are two guys that will improve. Tight end, definitely needs a look. Now, we're still going to have Velling. Nobody took him off of our practice squad during the season, so that's good. Of course, we got Orlando Brown Jr. Can we restructure his deal? I know we signed him to a 2-year deal, but can we restructure it already? Okay, it'll free up $1.63 million for this year. That helps out a little bit. He's at a 79 right now, but he could easily get up to the 80s this season. We need a whole new left guard. Right guard, absolutely. We need a backup right tackle. I guess Landon Jackson's first season didn't really improve very much. What is he rated like? He's up to a 78, so he's improved, but I think we got to get a better left end to go alongside Henderson. Speaking of Henderson, can we restructure him and free up some money? Looks like we can. Free up $5.61 million, which is good. All right, what else can we do? Nobody picked up Joseph, so that's good. So we can still develop him behind Henderson. What's that? Oh, it'll be a minus 21 million savings. Okay, well, we're not going to cut him anyway. We got Chris Jenkins Jr. and Silver. We definitely get some more depth at defensive tackle. Willie Gay, I know he was on a 2-year deal. We can't restructure him. I think he's on the last. Yeah, he's only got 1 year left on his contract. Peterson's still, of course, on his rookie deal. And Kaiser has 2 years left on his rookie deal, of course. Peterson looks like he's improved a little bit. He got up to 70, so he did look. It looks like he got some playing time this season, which is good. Kaiser, though, has really not improved very much. Maybe time to move on from him when the time comes. We got 2 years left for Barnes. We got 1 year left for Barnes. Francisco's got 2. Logan Wilson is entering the last year of his deal. He's down to a 76. That's not very good. We're probably going to need to look at some help with that. Can we restructure Britt? I know we signed him to a big deal last year. And that'll free up $1.26 million, which is not that bad. Got an 87 corner, even though it says 86 there. Dax Hill, we just signed to a new deal. Can we restructure him? Yeah, that'll free up $1.01 million, which is good to help with that. Free up some more money there. Bryant is up to a 76 now. I think it's time to make him the third corner and just let him turn loose. I think it's time for that. All these other guys are like younger guys that only have like a couple years left. Can we actually I want to look at moving on from some of these guys. Which one will save us the most without a penalty? Ivy will. So I'm actually going to go ahead and actually just cut him. It's not going to free up a lot, but, if we got a bunch of guys, I feel like we can get rid of some of them. Anthony, maybe. But for depth purposes, I think it's okay with keeping that. Brown is now our top strong safety. If I can't find anybody better, I might just keep him as the guy. Okay, well, I restructured some deals, which is good, but let me take a look actually at our roster makeup going into the offseason. Derrick Henry, the great Derrick Henry. King Henry is down to a 78 overall. I'm almost tempted to trade him. Cam Akers actually I'm actually glad I did that Cam Akers trade now, because since I traded away Chase Brown, which now unfortunately actually is not looking like the best idea, but Derrick Henry, 87 running back, was on the market, and now he's down to a 78. Oh, jeez. Okay, well, we'll get into free agency. Let's see who's out here and see what we can do. We freed up some money. We have $68.9 million to spend. We can get Aiden Hutchinson to be a big-time boost at defensive end on the other side. We can get Hutchinson and we can have Henderson potentially, 2 of the best defensive ends in the league. If we offer him this, man, that takes us down to $31.3 million. But you know what? I'm going to go for it. We're going to spend some of the big bucks if we can. Tyreek Hill is out there, but I don't want to throw a bunch of money at a guy that's on the back end of his career, 33 at 85. We're good at receiver. Okay, well, let me look at running backs. Is there anybody? There's really nobody that great out here. Swift, Bigsby, nor Mixon are really better than what we have, and none of these guys really are interested in coming here. So I'm not going to break the bank on that. The draft may be where we find that running back. That may be where we find him. So we need to get, what about tight ends? Okay, there's some decent tight ends here. But Travis Kelce is down to a 77. I want to see if I can go in on Dawson Knox. He's a 78 overall. Okay, nobody else is really offering him too much. So let's go with a team-friendly deal for 2 years, cut back on some of that money, and see if we can get him as our starting tight end. That's not a huge improvement over what we have, but, Bryant's gone. We need a new starting tight end. We were able to get Orlando Brown to come back, but we need to get left guards, and Titus Howard is there at 80 overall. Okay, that is looking like a pretty good deal. Will this neutral deal put us in the running for him? Yes, it will. Okay, well, actually, let's go with a team-friendly deal for 1 year then. We need a new center because Karras retired. But these guys are really not superior. But you know what? Let's get Fortner mostly just for insurance purposes. We're down to $12 million now. And we also, I think, need a new right guard. Do we not? Yes, we do. Okay, because I see Sheriff there. So, yeah, we do need a starting right guard. Okay. We need a starting right guard. Will Wyatt Teller is the best guy? But Sheriff fits. Okay, but Teller wants to come. Will he take a team-friendly deal for 1 year and come here? Okay, there's nobody else on his list, so we might be able to get him. Okay, but first things first, I may have to retract one of these because we're still in the forefront for Aiden Hutchinson, 99 overall defensive end. I really want that guy. If we can get the prize of free agency, the highest-rated guy, that would be just perfect. We could get some depth with maybe Mozzie Smith, but what other positions do we really need to fill? I think we're good there. Fred Werner is there at 98 overall, but he's not really interested in coming here, so I don't want to break the bank on him. Cornerback-wise, we could get some help with somebody like maybe Kendall Fuller. Strong safeties, no real improvements there. Jordan Battle is the top-rated guy. He's a guy we let walk. And we've got that, younger guy, so we'll come back to some more of these guys for depth. For the initial haul, these are the guys that we're targeting. We're going for broke a little bit here with Aiden Hutchinson, Titus Howard, Dawson Knox, Wyatt Teller, and Luke Fortner. We're addressing offensive line needs at every position that we have, as well as starting tight end. So let's see if we're able to land any of these guys in the first stage of free agency. If we can get Aiden Hutchinson, that is a huge boost for our defense. That would be absolutely huge. And Hutchinson goes to the Panthers. Oh, my God. We missed out on another big guy. But we were able to get Wyatt Teller and Fortner. Oh, my goodness. We lost out on Hutchinson. Man, oh, man. Well, got to pick up the pieces, kind of like we did last year when we missed out on Mark Andrews. The good thing is that not going all is that since we didn't land him, we still got $45 million to work with for other positions. So we're going to have to go with plans B and C for maybe left end. Because I'm guessing that Landon Jackson, based on the fact that he started the year at 77 in his sophomore year and he didn't go up past 77, to me indicates that I'm not saying he's not going to get any better, but we need to get somebody in the 80s to be in front of him just for the sake of, getting better. Because, when it comes to the simulations, it's really all about the ratings that the players are. And if they're not good, then they're not going to be able to you're not going to be able to, get good sim numbers. You're going to miss the playoffs and all that. So, yeah. I'm standing up for a minute, guys, to walk a little bit, get some steps in, because I don't like to sit down for long periods of time, even though obviously with gaming you do that. But I'm trying to do that more during these live streams. I know it's probably going to be feeling a little bit weird my voice doesn't sound really weird or anything, but I am standing up, walking in place to try to get some steps in. Trying to do this during a live stream is not the best thing, but hey, you got to do some kind of physical activity, keep yourself in decent shape. Obviously, you guys know I work in news and I'm a photographer and everything, so I I walk around every day and do a lot of work like that, but hey, you got to keep yourself in shape when you're not working, if you can. Okay, all right, sitting back down. You got to keep yourself. Okay, all right. Okay, then, so let's go ahead and take a. Sorry. Let's take a look at maybe some backup plans. Are there any other defensive ends at left side that were decent behind Hutchinson? No, he was the best guy. Nobody else is any good. Okay, well let's and did we sign? We got a few guys during the first period. Okay, so let's go back to the drawing board a little bit here and see what we can do. We do need to get a fullback. Did we lose out on maybe Dawson Knox as well, or has he just not agreed to come here yet? So we got Luke Fortner to come here to be our new center. 73 overall it's not very impressive. We did get Wyatt Teller, 76 right guard. We do need a backup right tackle. We do need a left guard. We don't even have one on the roster. And I think we need a backup left tackle, if I recall. So, yeah. Okay, let's see. Dawson Knox, okay, the Rams offered him more. Howard is still considering our deal. We're his only offer, but with Knox, I am going to go with a neutral deal instead of a player-friendly deal, and I want to see if that helps. Okay, that doesn't really help us very much, but you know what? I don't know if I want to go that much in. No, no. This may be overspending for a 78 tight end, but I'm going to go for it because we have the extra money to spend now. We're ahead, and so let's get a new starting tight end, a guy that's probably a little bit better than Johnson, than what we had before. Okay. So who are some of the guys that are still in maybe the top 100 who haven't signed with anybody yet? Warner is actually going to the Panthers as well. So the Panthers got Hutchinson and Warner. Man, they must have created so much cap space for themselves. Tyreek Hill is going to the Browns, so we're going to see him this season. Fuller is going to the Titans, so we can't get him. Howard. This is the top 100. Kyle Juszczyk is still here, so you know what? Let's bring him in as our new starting fullback. I'm a little bit surprised he hasn't retired yet, but we do need a starting fullback. Let's go with Juszczyk. And you know what? It may be his last year, but it looks like he doesn't want a whole bunch of money, so let's go with a team-friendly deal, cut back, save some of that cash. I think I do need to get a third running back. Maybe somebody who wants to be here. I'm not getting Deuce Vaughn. Cam Scattaboo. Yeah. The upside there, yes, definitely. Just for upside purposes. But the Cowboys have offered more. Okay, well, you know what? Let's go with a player-friendly. 3 years. Possible future starter at running back if we don't find anybody that great in the draft this year. Let's go for it. All right, left guard. I didn't spend much. Okay, well, we're in on Howard anyway, but we do need some backups. Okay, let me take a look actually on defense now because I've been paying more attention to offensive needs than defensive needs so far. Let's see what we need really on defense. I know we need it, but there's really no improvements at left end. I think we're just going to have to go with Jackson and Murphy once again, unless we get somebody really good in the draft. That could change things. Defensive tackle, we need some depth. I want to bring in at least one guy in free agency at defensive tackle. Left outside linebacker's looking okay. Barnes will be here for one more season. I didn't see a whole lot of improvements there, but let me check all the linebacker spots. But the thing is, Warner was the top guy at linebacker overall at any linebacker spot. He's already gone. Watson is the top guy at left outside linebacker. Of course, he's gone. Henry Toto is 78 overall, but that actually might be a decent investment because we could get him here on a long-term deal. Barnes will be gone, but other teams are going in on him as well, and they're offering more money than us. Matt Milano. But dropping down to that rating means he's probably on the back end of his career, which isn't good. So I don't know if I'm going to do that. There's really not much improvement here. Corners, and there's no real improvements at strong safety. The guy that we had in Jordan Battle, he's going to the Jets. We lost out on him. We do need a punter. None of these guys really want to come here. But the top guy is Michael Dixon. We may have to spend some money here. Neutral deal. Let's see if he takes this. Or his top offer. The Panthers are going in on him as well. Surprise, surprise. The Carolina Panthers want a good punter as well. Okay, so this is who we've targeted. We're going after Michael Dixon to be our new punter. We're still in on Titus Howard. Where's only offer? Kyle Juszczyk. We put in an offer for Henry Tuoto, although the Titans have offered more money. They may land him over us. We re-upped Dawson Knox. We're in front of the Rams. Hopefully we get him to be our new starting tight end, and we're putting an offer on Cam Scadaboo. Probably offering a little bit of too much money there, but the Cowboys really want him as well. But I'm offering Scadaboo a 3-year contract to come here. This guy could be a potential new starting running back for us, or at best a second, third down back, based on the fact that Cam Akers and Henry are only here for 1 more year. But that doesn't throw out the idea of taking a running back in the draft. I think that if I want to get a really good running back and finally just kind of put the worries about that to sleep, I think I may need to do that over maybe other positions we may really need per se, but I'm willing to take that risk. First things first, let's see if we sign anybody. We got Dixon, we got Howard, Juszczyk, we got Dawson Knox, great. We got Wyatt Teller, Cam Scadaboo, and Fortner. So I'm guessing we lost out on that middle linebacker. Tuoto, yeah, he's going to the Dolphins. So we didn't get him. But it is what it is. There's really no more improvements that I can see here. Let's take a look at our roster once again, because I may need to get just some depth on this team at this point, on the offensive line, maybe defensive line. So, yeah, Cam Scadaboo is our third best running back. Akers is an 80. Henry's a 78. And we got a 73 Scadaboo coming here. How old is he? He's only 24 years old. So he's still got a lot of growth to go through and everything. Juszczyk is 42. I wonder if I can give him his 44. Can I? Does it wear 44? I think it wears 44. I think I can. Let's give him 44. All right, Juice. Could be his last year in the NFL as well. So he'll probably retire, but still. 1 year of Juszczyk is not a bad thing. 1 year of him in Cincinnati. Went to Harvard, 14-year fullback. One of the best, even though he's down to a 79. But that could probably help us out. And Joe Burrow is a 99. I just saw that. So that's great. Really haven't done anything with receiver ever since we drafted Harris. But, yeah. So Dawson Knox is 79. All junior, Velling. Tight ends are looking a little bit better. We got Howard to be our new starting left guard. Center is a little bit worse than last year, but it is what it is. Okay, so we need a backup right tackle. We need a backup left guard. Okay, so we need a backup right tackle and left guard. So let's do that during this next wave of free agency. The final wave. Okay, we need backups now. We need a backup left guard. Let's get Royce Newman. You know, I've signed him in other rebuilds that I've done. We're his only offer. We need a backup right tackle now. Jack Conklin. Probably come here on a 1-year deal. Let's get him. Okay. We still have $22.9 million left, but there's really not a whole big haul of like really, really good players. Okay, so I addressed depth on the offensive line, so we at least got 2 players at every position there. because I always want to do that, even if most of the guys are on one-year contracts. Defensive end, really, I think it's like, okay, running back or defensive end with the first-round pick. I don't want to stray from that, but I also don't want to reach and pick it just for needs, We do need a backup defensive tackle, so I'm going to go get that. We do need a backup right outside linebacker, and we need a backup strong safety. So we're just getting depth right now. So let's go ahead and take care of that. All right, so let's go ahead and get backup defensive tackle. Bring back DJ Reader. Well, let's bring in BJ Hill. Quick one-year deal. Okay. Backup right outside linebacker. That's depth that we need. D. Winters. Let's bring him in here. And we need a backup strong safety. Lewis Kine, 69 overall. Not really that great, but hey, do what you want. All right, so this is the final wave of our targets in free agency. Jack Conklin, Royce Newman, D. Winters, B.J. Hill, and Lewis Kine. None of those guys have competing offers, so we should land them, and they're all getting one-year deals. All right, let's check out and see if we got all of them. Got Conklin, got Newman, Winters, Hill, and Kine. So I think we've addressed depth at all of our positions, but I want to go ahead and take a look at some of the jersey numbers with some of these new guys that we picked up and maybe adjust them a little bit, if I can. Okay, I want to give maybe Cam Scattaboo maybe 4, if I can. Is anybody wearing number 10? I don't think so. Let's check our receivers. Nope. Okay, so let's go ahead and give Davis Mills number 10, like he used to wear in Houston. He's only got 1 year left on his deal as our backup anyway, so least I can do is give him number 10. So we can give Cam Scattaboo his number 4, like he wore at Arizona State. We can actually restructure his deal to free up $1 million already, which is good. I mean, this is a small guy, but scat bag type of guys, you never know. I mean, this dude is, 5'9", 225, 73 overall is not that bad of a starting point. He's a scheme fit guy for us as well. Probably could be a good third down back, rotational guy. Cam Akers, I believe, I know he wore number 3 with the Rams, but I want to maybe change his number a little bit if I can. We're in 27. Battle's not wearing 27 anymore. I don't think he can wear 3. Can he? Do we have somebody else wearing number 3? Maybe we don't. Okay, we can actually probably give Cam Akers number 3 then. So let's do that. Okay. Cam Akers has got his signature 3 back, like he wore with the Rams. Got all the running backs looking like they kind of should. So right now, Cam Akers is our starter, but I don't think that's going to be permanent. Derrick Henry, 78 overall. Scattaboo, 73. Really want to get better at running back if we can. I think I'm just going to keep the offensive linemen at the numbers that they have. I'm not really obsessed with changing those numbers. B.J. Hill. He's now the backup defensive tackle behind Chris Jenkins Jr., who actually has a superstar trait at 86. He's only been in the league for 3 years now. He's 25 years old, so the growth is there. But maybe he'll take the next step in the next couple of years. I can hope so, but we'll see. Gay, we got Barnes, Francisco, Logan Wilson. We've got D. Winters to be his backup. Britt, Hill, Kobe Bryant. And we've got, of course, Josh Newman still here. Husky's getting a little bit better. He's up to a 69 now. Denver Harris, Lewis, Hartzog Jr., Geno Stone, and Anthony. Anthony is somebody I was actually considering maybe releasing. It won't save us it'll save us a little bit. So you know what? I'm actually going to go ahead and cut him. I really don't feel like we have any use for him as our backup because we have Bryce Anderson here. We've got Shaheem Brown, we got Lewis Kine, Evan McPherson, and we've got Dixon. And he can wear number. We can give him like 14 or something. We'll give him 14, just kind of make it look like him a little bit. All right. Well, this draft, let's just kind of see. Let's go scout college players. Let's check out mock draft number 5 if it's available and see what they have as projected to do. We're going to have a higher pick this year because we didn't make it all the way to the Super Bowl. Kenya Hardy, a left tackle out of Texas. I mean, Orlando Brown Jr. is not going to be here forever, but what running backs could go potentially in the first round? Doesn't look like any of them so far. I see a bunch of quarterbacks. The first running back projected to go off the board at 28 is Thomas Simmons out of Stanford to the Eagles. He is a scheme fit guy for us, which puts the temptation up there to take him. It may be a reach straight up, but I think I need to go with the running back out of Stanford. I really think I need to I got to draft a running back this year. I feel like I have to.
Every career starts as a dream.
How much of a top guy is he on the board? Okay, he's not like one of the top guys. Okay, well, he kind of is. There's Simmons right there. I'm going to go with him. Thomas Simmons, Stanford, first round pick. And it's an excellent pick. Great. I think we might have aced the first round pick. Great. Now, I really want to get defensive. Are there any defensive ends that are decent? So none of them are at the top of the board. Antonio Hills. But we can... maybe a reach. Good pick. Okay, it wasn't bad of a reach. Okay, good. Well, we needed a defensive end, so we did that. All right, we're at all positions again. There's a bunch of quarterbacks that are here, but you know what? Let's get some depth at receiver and go with R.J. Ferguson out of Clemson. Another good pick. Awesome. 4th round pick. Good double dip at running back. There's some receivers that are pretty good. Stan Hamilton out of Penn State actually looks pretty solid. Let's get some depth at free safety. Good pick. Right, no average picks so far, which is pretty good. We're really acing this draft. I mean, not acing, but, you know, we're decent guys. Jonathan Haywood out of Tennessee. Let's get younger at defensive tackle. Our first average pick. Oh, of course. It had to happen sooner or later. Yes. 6th round selection here. I'm not opposed to getting 2 running backs. Let's actually go with Kai Peterson. It's double-dipping running back in the draft, scheme fit guy, and it's a good pick. All right, great. All right. Russell Beekman out of Texas A&M looks pretty solid. Let's go with him. Get some rotation guys on the defensive end. It's a bad pick. Oh, God. First bad pick of the draft. 7th round pick here. Damian Davis looks like a pretty solid right outside linebacker detail. Let's get linebacking depth and go with him. Don't know if that was a good pick or a bad pick. It won't tell me. But let's take a look at the draft recap and see where we are. I went with the running back in the 1st round, and it said it was an excellent pick. And Thomas Simmons is coming in at a 78 overall to start out his career, the rookie out of Stanford. Got a 72 Antonio Hills, left end out of Tulane. 72 overall R.J. Ferguson to get some help at receiver. 74 Stan Hamilton at free safety. That's pretty good value right there for a 4th round pick. Jonathan Haywood, defensive tackle, 71. So, man, a lot of these guys are in the 70s. And also Kai Peterson, another rookie running back out of Florida. And these are the only bad picks. Russell Beekman, defensive end, and a right outside linebacker, Damian Davis, who wasn't really rated very high. But Simmons could be a potential future starter for us. So now let's take a look at these rosters and kind of get them finalized. Simmons right now is the 3rd running back on the depth chart, but Derrick Henry and him are both at a 78. I think I'm honestly very tempted to put Simmons. Okay. I think that I'm going to try to trade away Derrick Henry. He's on the last year of his deal. And there could be somebody that needs a running back. But it's got to be somebody that can take on his contract. It's not a big contract. It's only 1 year. Somebody that needs a running back but has the cap space to take it on. Did any of these guys need a running back? I think the Patriots might be good. And I'm just looking for picks. I mean, I could go for, but I don't think we're really going to be able to get too much. So let's just go with draft picks. Let's go with maybe a 3rd rounder. If not, I'll go with the 4th rounder. Trade declined. Okay, it's probably going to take a 4th rounder. Traded a 4th round. Traded Derrick Henry for a 4th round pick because Simmons is 78. Henry, we really don't need him anymore. I hate that then again, we only really gave him a 2-year contract anyway, so he was on the last year of this deal going into this year. But Simmons, I think, is going to be the guy behind Akers. So this is going to be our 1-2 punch of Cam Akers and Thomas Simmons. Is Thomas Simmons a real player? I got to look this up. Thomas Simmons. Stanford. He may not be a real player. Okay, he's not a real player, but you know what? He's going to rock number 0. That's a rookie for us. We also have Cam Scatterbo, so we've got instantly younger at running back. Cam Akers is a statesman, if you will, but also Kai Peterson. I don't know if he's a real player or not. I did look him up once. Yeah, Kai Peterson is not a real player. Sounds like he could have been real, but he's going to rock 32. Juice check. R.J. Ferguson. Let's just see if he is real. R.J. Ferguson. No, he's not real. He can wear 84, like T.J. Houshmandzadeh. Probably should have drafted some offensive linemen, but we didn't. Antonio Hills is only coming in at a 73 overall. So, yeah. Russell Beekman. I want to see if he's real, because I don't think I've ever drafted him before. Russell Beekman. Nah, he's not a real player. Okay. Can I give him a number in the 90s, maybe? Or do we just have numbers in the 60s? Or are all of them gone? 93. Let's give him 93. Russell Beekman, rookie out of Texas A&M, 66 overall. Not really. He's better than Joseph's coming in here. But Hendrickson is kind of overtaken that, and Jonathan Haywood coming in at 72. B.J. Hill may not be completely necessary to have him if Haywood is going to eventually overtake him. But you know what? We'll keep 4 defensive tackles. I think that's okay. Winters and Damian Davis, who we also drafted. So, another rookie for depth. Did we draft a corner this year? No, we didn't. We did draft a free safety, Stan Hamilton. I don't know if he's real or not. Let me see. He sounds like he could be real. No, he's not real. Okay. But Rocket 18 is kind of weird. Let me see if I can change his number to something maybe in the 20s. Let's change his number to 20. Rookie free safety. Bryce Anderson, strong safety. Shaheem Brown is the starter there now. Lewis Klein, McPherson. Okay. Well, our roster is kind of looking the same as it was last year, although a running back is worse. But considering the fact that Henry, unfortunately, kind of wound up being a bust for us in terms of finding a franchise, a running back to carry the load. Thomas Simmons, rookie out of Stanford, first-round pick for us, may be the guy. Cam Akers right now is going to be the starter, but Simmons is not that far behind. I expect Simmons to still get a lot of playing time. Scattaboo is also kind of a little bit of insurance, and we also drafted Kai Peterson. So we got a couple of young running backs now on this team to get some depth there. Receiving room is looking very much the same, although Trey Harris has gotten better. We have Burton. We got Ferguson, who's a rookie we drafted. We still have Hudson, and we have Shavers. Upgraded tight end. Orlando Brown Jr. is bad. We got an upgraded left guard. Center dipped a little bit. 76 right guard is a little bit worse than we had with Brandon Sheriff last year. 85 Mims, who's now going to be the starter since Trent Brown is retiring. Landon Jackson is up to a 78 to start his 3rd year in the NFL. I'm hoping this is the year that he breaks through and becomes a decent starter for us. But we still have Miles Murphy as a good rotational guy, and we have Antonio Hills as well. Hendrickson is still here. Beekman, a rookie. Joshua Josephs is decent depth behind him. We got 86, 72, another 72. Linebacking core. I mean, this is still in a way an average team outside of superstar players that we have in, a 99 Burrow and a 99 Chase. Our top guys really dip after Higgins, really. So, but we'll see what we can do. Hopefully we do better this next season coming up. Just hoping that we can, find a way to at least win one playoff game the next year. I really want to stick with this series and try to get this team back to Super Bowl, but it may be easier said than done. But thank you all for watching this video. Next week, I'll probably be streaming again. Until then, I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.